Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. Due to YouTube's changing quote-unquote community standards, I created a channel called Grumpy Old Fart over on Rumble, a free speech alternative to YouTube. You can see all of my stuff over there, including my political and social commentary, as well as my current events videos. The links to my YouTube and Rumble channels, as well as links to let you order my books, are in the description of this video. If you enjoy my content, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. I welcome your comments, even if you disagree with me. Now, on with the video. Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing a Heroes Unlimited advice video on unintended consequences. One thing you need to be aware of when you're running a Heroes Unlimited game, perhaps more so than in any other tabletop role-playing game, is the unintended consequences of players' actions. In Dungeons and Dragons, the classic faux pas for a wizard is, I'm going to cast Fireball over there while your guys are in the area of effect. You see what I'm saying? Situational awareness. He used a Fireball, which has a 30-foot blast radius, I think it is, and it has it's an area of effect. And if your guys are in there fighting the bad guy that you cast a Fireball on, your guys are going to get hit too. You know, that's fairly common. That's the more mundane one. However, when you're coming with when you're dealing with a game like Heroes Unlimited with such a diverse amount of abilities, you really got to pay close attention to the laws of physics and situational awareness. Let me just jump into this. A working knowledge of the laws of physics is useful in any role-playing game, but in Heroes Unlimited, it is quintessential. When a player character uses superpowers, a certain amount of interpretation is necessary with those laws of physics. Always temper that interpretation with common sense and situational awareness. Very, very important. Over the years I've been playing this game for decades, I have seen and heard a lot of different stuff where players, they don't think before they act. They're not, they do something with the intent of helping or doing one specific thing, and you know, plugging the dike here causes a flood over there. Basically, their intention is good, or their intention is understandable, but the laws of physics cannot be ignored. You cannot ignore the laws of physics. I got a few examples here, and then I'll talk some more about it. A player character was running at Mach 1 when another character clotheslined him with his arm. Now this this other character that clotheslined him was had superhuman strength, but the guy's traveling at Mach 1. The runner took lots of damage, of course, but the guy who clotheslined him had his arm sheared right off because he was traveling Mach 1. Albert Einstein was very famous for E equals mc squared. E, energy, equals m, mass, times c squared. C is velocity, speed. So the faster something goes, the more energy it produces. That's basic physics. E equals mc squared. Well, this guy stuck his arm out in front of something traveling at Mach 1, and his arm got ripped off. Now, the guy that was running at Mach 1, yeah, he took lots of damage. I think he may have died, as I recall. But the guy who did it, he didn't intend for his arm to get sheared off. I'm just saying. Now, if he had been invulnerable and did that might have been a different story, but he wasn't. You see what I'm saying? You have to interpret the laws of physics versus the superpowers. The guy was strong, but he was not invulnerable. Big difference. A player character was fighting a villain in a bank vault. The villain was trying to rob the bank. The player character was in there with him. The player character pulled the pin on a grenade that the villain was wearing on his vest, thinking there was no way the villain could survive. The vault contained the explosion, which did a lot more damage. Both of them died. When you have an explosion in if you have your hand, what was it? The movie Armageddon said it really well. You hold your hand out and put a firecracker on it, and then you set the firecracker off, and it's sitting in your hand like that. Yeah, you're going to burn your hand. But the same firecracker, close your fist around it tightly, it's gonna hurt a lot more. You may lose some fingers. You see what I'm saying? The same basic concept here. The grenade blast was contained inside the bank vault, which multiplied the damage. Both of them died. Another player character decided to exit a damaged submarine at a depth of 2,500 feet. He figured he could swim to the surface. At 2,500 feet, the pressure is equal to 75 atmospheres. It's not like you're swimming in the pool out back. He drowned long before he reached the surface. The pressure forced him to was pressuring on his lungs. He couldn't hold his breath for that long. Yeah, he died. A player character with growth jumped out of an airplane at 20,000 feet and grew to full height, 75 feet, thinking that his size would save him. From 20,000 feet, he caused a crater 150 feet wide and 30 feet deep. His body became goo. Yeah. If you're a couple hundred feet in the air, that might work. 20,000 feet? No, that's not happening. This is one of my favorites. My friend Michael did this. Michael's a good guy. He's not very smart, but he's a good guy. And I say that with all the love intended because he's a good guy. He's a good friend of mine. But he just did reckless stuff in the game, and he knows it. He knows it. And his invulnerable character was trapped in an elevator with a powerful bomb and 3 civilians. He was trying to save the civilians. He put his body between the civilians and the bomb, trying to shield them. The bomb detonated in his body, turned the civilians into goo. If you're not familiar with how guns work, you have a bullet. The bullet has 3 parts. There's an outer casing of brass or whatever in the back. The projectile is in the nose of that casing. Well, inside the casing, there's gunpowder. Gunpowder is an explosive. When you fire the gun, in the back of the casing, there's a small blasting cap. When you pull the trigger, the firing pin hits the blasting cap, which detonates the gunpowder. The explosion propels the bullet. Well, in this elevator scenario, the invulnerable character was the bullet. And he flattened those 3 civilians against the side of the elevator, and they were goo. Yeah, what all this boils down to is that no matter how powerful a player character is, the laws of physics are even more powerful. Beware their wrath, lest ye become goo. Hope this finds everybody well. You folks have a good day. God bless one and all. We elect cookie-cutter politicians every single election cycle. Yes men who maintain the status quo and do just enough to make us believe the system still works. Imagine, if you will, a president who actually tries to fix things. If you like action, political intrigue, and a righteous crusade, check out my political thriller, The Righteous President.